This video is going to show you how to use your Living Stones site. So I'm going to start at the beginning and go through most of the main basic functions of your site so that you should be able to update things as necessary. So in order to log in, you'll go to /wp-admin. You'll put in your username and password, and then you'll be logged in back here, which I think your previous site was WordPress. So probably some of this looks very familiar. So I'm just going to go down the line of the items in this left-hand column, explain them, and explain what the pertinent ones are to what you'll be doing to update your site. So starting at the top and moving down, we'll look at updates. This is your plugins in your WordPress theme. We regularly update all of the plugins for all of the sites that we host. So we will be updating all of these for you, but if you come in here and you see that some need to be updated, or you're having trouble with something that you're trying to update or change on your site, it could be that you need to update a plugin. So this is where you would do that, and you would just select all and update plugins, and then the same goes for themes, select all and update those. So if you run into some issues, sometimes the first part of troubleshooting would just be to come in here and make sure all those were updated. And moving on, under posts, you guys aren't doing blog posts currently. I think I transferred one old post from the previous site, and this is from maybe from the youth page or something. So if you later on want to include posts, I'll show you kind of the different elements for how that would happen. But if you run into issues, obviously you could always contact us and we would be able to help you. But I can show you how to format a page to make blog posts appear on that page. So we'll just move to the next item, which is Accordion Pro. And this is used in two places on the site, on the What We Believe in the Baptism Facts. And so I'm sure you're familiar with what those pages look like. And so that's why this is called an accordion. You can understand why. So these items are edited within this Accordion Pro plugin. So if we go to What We Believe, then if you scroll down, all your little sections are here. So all your sections with your title goes here, and then all of your text goes beneath it. And so this functions basically the same way that like a blog post or a page would function. You have all the same options, which would be the resizing the text, bolding text, italicizing text, bulleting list, numbering list. You can align it differently, those kind of things. And so we've got, and then once you scroll down, you've got display icon, and we have that set as yes. And then if you go over to this right hand side, you can see which type of open and close item we have. So you can switch it. If you don't like the arrows, you can choose a different one, or if you want to make another accordion later on, then you can change the button here to whatever you want. So you give it a title, then you put the content that would open up once you click it here. You can delete them, or you can add a new accordion through here, and it'll give you a new one. And then you would click the plus to see it and view it, and the minus to put that back. And should be able to drag those, and this might need to be, the plugin for this might need to be updated, but you should be able to drag those to rearrange them in the appropriate order. And then if you want to, you can delete them, and then as you make changes, you'll want to click update here in the corner. So then if you go back to all accordions, you can see next to them the shortcode is right here, so that's what's copied and pasted onto the page where it's used. So if you if you want to create a new accordion and use it somewhere else, if you have an event coming up and there's a lot of questions about summer camp or something like that, you can use this function on any page in the site. You just click add a new accordion here or add a new accordion here, and you give it a title, and then you just add these as needed and give them a title, put your answer to the question here, and then choose what kind of icon you want to use over here. And then click publish. And then, like I said, if you go to all accordions over here, then you can see that short code and put it wherever you want. But if you need to make changes or updates to these accordions, that's where they're located. Those are pretty standard. I don't know that you'll make a lot of changes, but that's just so that you know where those are located. Moving down the line, the next thing is media. This is just your media library. This is probably familiar to you. This is where you can upload any files, any PDFs, any sermons, any slider graphics, any photos of people, anything that you need can be uploaded here, can be viewed here. You can get the URL here if you need to use that for anything. If you need to crop the image or edit the image, that's all done through here as well. Anytime you need to add media within a page or a sermon, the button will be there. The add media button will be there, so you don't have to come back here, but this is just one main place where it's all located. Moving on, we'll look at forms, and under forms you have a few different ones, but they're all pretty basic, so I will show you kind of how these work. I'm assuming you use this on your old site, so you may not need anything, you may not need this section, but I'll go through it anyway. So basically you have your fields over here, and you select your field here, and it shows up over here once you click it. Then once you click this drop down arrow, you can change the field label to say whatever you want. You can duplicate a field, or you can delete a field. You can drag them to wherever you'd like them. And basically, if you add just a single line text or a paragraph text, you can just create that title to say whatever you want and change this field label to whatever you want. You can make the field required, those kind of things. Also, this is Gravity Forms is the name of the plugin. If you have questions, a lot of times their website is helpful, but a lot of it is intuitive on how it works, and I think most of these are pretty basic. Yeah, so just name, email, and then a paragraph field text titled prayer request. So if you ever need to create a new one, it's kind of probably not going to use anything too crazy. And you also have the option to duplicate any form. So if a form is already set up exactly the way that you want it to, then you can just duplicate it. So I think these are all, yeah, they're all pretty basic, just name, phone number, email with a paragraph text. So within here, you can see settings. You have form settings, confirmations, notifications, entries. You also have the preview button. You can see how it's set up. You can't see with your site CSS and coding, you can't see what it looks like with your site background, but you can see how it lays. So on email, under appearance, you have this CSS class, which again, the website can be helpful with this. This is on the left half, and then this one's going to be on the right half. You can see appearance, custom CSS, it's on the right half. And that's how you get this nice, instead of having everything in a line like email here, phone number here, they're next to each other, which makes it less scrolling for your user, which is really nice. So that's an additional part of forms that's easy to use. And so if you look at entries, this is where you can view your entries. We have them set up to go to all of your, there's 3 emails that all the forms are set up to go to. So we'll look at that. So under notifications, all your forms are set up to go to these 3 emails, and they will just appear right there in your inbox, and you'll never have to come into this entries part here if you don't want to. It'll just, the whole content of the submission will appear in your inbox. Then if you do want to edit this or change this, let's say you have a change in staff, you can delete it, or you can change this send to email here. And you can duplicate this and then change the send to email if you just want to add another person to receive all the form notifications. And then under confirmation, if you want the message that pops up to be different, you can change it here. It's just the default for now. And within each page, there's a button that says add form, and I'll show you that when we get there. And that's how you add those, and those are added through a short code, but it puts it in there for you. And you can also get to those notifications or entries through here as well. And then the edit button to edit the form by hovering over the title. And you can of course delete any of these items. So that's the main things here. And yeah, I don't know that there's much else that you would need to know about forms. If you run into questions, of course, you can ask. We'll move to pages. And this is going to be what creates all the internal pages as well as your home page. So I will start just talking about the home page and then also the landing home pages for the students and kids. And then I'll talk about some of the internal pages. So if you find yourself, I'm not sure, I can't find the page I'm looking for, you can search here. And then you can see that this one says front page, so that's our home page. And each of these are going to be split up into areas. So as you see, each little section on here is split up, and that's how it's going to be split up once you get into the back end here as well. So you have each section has a little arrow, and you can see the title. This title doesn't appear on the site, but this is just so you know what these things are talking about. So then if I want to expand an item, I'm going to click this arrow, and I can see this slider just has that short code so that the homepage slider that we've created appears at the top page there. So I don't have to worry about anything there. Any changes to the slider are made in Revolution Slider, which is down here. So I'm going to put that one back up. Don't need to talk about that one. Under the About section, let's look at this one. Here we just have basic text. So if you want to make any changes to this text ever, you can change the size, you can bold, italicize, use any of these functions here, just basically like any word processing system. And then this Learn More button is done by hyperlinking the text, so you can see it's hyperlinked. So we can hyperlink any text by clicking this and then pasting the URL here, or I can go and say which page on our site do I want to link to? I want to link to a specific sermon, or do I want to link to a page? Then I click it, click add link, and now that's a link. And if I want to get rid of it, I remove the link right there. And then this is under format, it's formatted as a button, and that's how it appears as a button. That looks nice for you right there. And there's really no other formatting done on this section because it's just got that plain white background. So you can look at background, and there's no image selected, no background color. On spacing, it's an extra short section, which just means it's shorter than some of these other sections, just so that it looks nice, breaks up the homepage a little bit, and it's full width. And the text is middle aligned, but that's under advanced, and that's everything there. So anytime you make a change to any of these sections, you'll want to make sure you hit update. And if you go down and continue to make changes, and then let's say something happens, or your internet goes out or whatever, you're going to want to save as you go, and that's just done through the update button over there. So we'll look at the Life, Kids, and Students section. And you can see this functions in a similar way to the buttons that you saw on the button that you saw in the About section. So this is just hyperlinked to the appropriate page on the site, and then it's formatted as formatted as a square button. And that's how we get these nice buttons here. So the same idea, but they're square. And then this code here is used in a couple different places throughout your site. It's used here to create columns, and it's a plugin called Column Shortcode. And you can look in your plugins over here, and you can see what the name of each are. If you want to make columns in thirds, you would want to just replicate exactly what you see here by putting this text in between each thing that you want in columns, and you can see how that's done right there. So this is where the text is located. I don't think you'll probably end up changing anything there. And then in the background, you can see that there's no image in the background, but there is a color. And so if I select this color, I can copy and paste this color code here if I ever want to use it anywhere else. And then have your site obviously look a uniform color. On spacing, you have padding checked as yes, because we have padding on either side of our words and either side of our buttons on the top and bottom. And it's a full width section and middle aligned, so nothing too special on that section. And if you want to add more sections, you add, or you can delete this row through here, and it'll ask you if you're sure before you delete it, and you can add a row in here or add a page section through here, and it'll show up at the bottom. And these are also draggable to reorder them if you so desire. Sermon text. So this is where you would update as you have a new series. So you can see this is done by, all we've got here is we've got a image and some text about the latest series. So as you get new series, all you'd need to do is come in and update this, and then make sure, I'll show you how to create a new series. Make sure you link to the appropriate page. So if you go to recent series, then you can see Eternity. So this is the link I need, and I can get the link right here. And then just hyperlink it to the word listen. And the word listen is also formatted as a button there. So you just want to make sure if you update, if you make any changes or somehow the button goes away, you remember its format and button. And this item here is just updated through, I can go to edit, and you can see, oh, this is 410 width, and that's what it's set as. So you just go to replace, and then you'd upload your new file, or if you'd already uploaded it, then it would be in the media library. Select it, click replace, and then under edit, just make sure you set the width to 410 again. And you can make it a link, you can make the photo a link to the appropriate page as well if you'd like. And that's all the text part of that. And then in the background, it's just a white background with full width, and so there's no background color, no image. It's just got some padding on either side, full width, middle aligned. So there's nothing that you need to change or edit there, or nothing else we've got to talk about there. So we'll look at featured event. So we've got upcoming events, and this links to your calendar page. And so like I said, when you edit this, then you'll just want to make sure you click custom URL and link it to the calendar. So if you create a new graphic for this, or want to use a different graphic, then you can do that. Just create custom URL and use that replace function. And then in this one, you'll see that the background has a color. And again, you can copy and paste that color if you need to use it on anything else. And spacing, this is a 50% width section, since there are two side-by-side sections there. And when you're making side-by-side sections, it just needs to be clear that the height of the sections are exactly the same. So you'll see when we look at this online giving section, under spacing, it's also 50%, and it's 400 pixels high. And then again, in the background is that blue color, and this is formatted to link to the appropriate giving spot. And that's everything on the home page. These other items are added through our footer widgets, so I'll talk about those shortly, but that's everything on the home page. And so the main things you're probably going to be updating are the slider and then this series section, and that shows you how to do that. So anytime you make changes, you'll want to click update. And this basically functions the same way for our internal pages with the kids and students page. So anytime you see the slider section, it's just going to have slider shortcode. These are going to be 1/4 sections that all have the same height. These will be 1/3 sections that all have the same height, formatted as a button with that background color. So let's look briefly at the students page. And like I said, you've got all these sections, slider, and again, this part doesn't show up. That's just for us so that we can see and we know what's there. And you have the slider shortcode, the connect section. So those just have a plain background with no color, and then under spacing, 25% width and 300 height. And that's going to be the same for all of these sections, 25, 300. So anytime they're next to each other, they just all have to be the same height. And you can see this is where you can update the text if you end up changing the functions of your ministry and need to change those. And then Gallery, Connect, and Calendar. Again, these are linked to their appropriate pages, formatted as a button, and then in the background, you've got that gray color. It's a 1/3 section, 300 in height. And again, it's just the same as we go down. All that's formatted as a button. This is just a Meet the Team button, and this is an extra short section since it's just a little smaller section than some of these others. And then we've got the Let's Talk and Youth Times and Map. That's also done through the footer. And we'll talk about menus when we get to menus as well. And I believe none of these internal pages are, nothing's tricky with them. I think they're all pretty easily understood, and I'll show you kind of how some of the internal pages work. So let's briefly look at the kids page just so that we can make sure that there's nothing that you would end up having questions about on the kids page. So yeah, this basically functions the same way. You're just going to have the 3 sections, 2 sections, and then the footer items. So I think it's called Kids Homepage. So yeah, you've just got it's going to have this slider, text. This is set as heading 2, and then the background is just white on all of these. The spacing, 1/3 section, it looks like 240 on the height on those. And we've done the coding to make this look this way, so there's nothing you'd have to do there. That's just when you set something as heading 2 size, then it will look like that. So I think those are the main landing page options there. So let's look at just a regular page and see if there's anything special that you might need to know. Let's look at parent resources and see. So as with those home pages, the content within a page is added through a page section, but a page like parent resources might just have one section because you don't need different sections. So you can see this has just got text on it, and again, this is all formatted through these items here. These are hyperlinked to the appropriate website, so if you end up finding one of these links doesn't work anymore, or not linking to the appropriate place, or you want to add things, then you can just replicate what you see there. And again, you hyperlink items through here. And then if you want to add a form, wherever your cursor is, you can click add form. Select your form, whichever one you want to use. You don't need to display the title or the description, and insert it, and it'll put the short code that you need right there. You can also paste you can add a picture within a page somewhere, just like we added it within those page sections earlier. And then if I want to align, I want to center it, I want to align it to the right, or I want to edit the size, I want to make it smaller, I want to link it, whatever, I want to get rid of it. And if we had a gallery page for your student ministry, if you want to add a gallery, then you can add that through here, and you just select whichever one you want, and it will put the short code there for you. And if you want to get rid of it, you can just get rid of it like that. And some of your pages have a featured image, I believe, and that's done through here. Some of the pages, like the life group page, you have a graphic that you created, and that's just put within the page. It's not set as a featured image. Where's my life group page? So if you'll look, you have your image here, and this is centered, and I've got it set as, come on, I think it's full size. I'm not sure why it's doing that. And then your life group leaders are actually set up through FooGallery as well. And when we get to FooGallery, I will show you how to update those life group leaders. So like I said, this photo here is just done through add media, and then I can edit it as needed. So it's set as the large size, and so that's how I have all of those graphics set up for you. And again, if you make any changes, click update. So I think that covers the basics of all of our pages. I don't think there's anything we haven't talked about. So let's move to the next thing. Comments would be if we had comments enabled on a blog, which you guys aren't using blogs, so we don't have anything there. Under calendars, there's basically nothing you need to worry about under calendars because we have the shortcode in the right places. So if you want to put a calendar on a different page or add a different page with these calendars, then you can add these shortcodes. So what we've done is we've connected these to your Google Calendar. So as you make changes to your Google Calendar, these will auto-populate on your website. So you never have to worry about anything here. If you decide that you want to create a new calendar, let's say you have one for the youth page, you want to create one for the children's page, then your best bet would be to clone this calendar, and it's going to be exactly the same. And then when you click on it and edit it, all you need to do is scroll down and you'll go to this Google Calendar tab here and get the calendar ID from your Google Calendar, and it shows you how to find your Google Calendar ID right here with these detailed instructions. And then update your cloned calendar, and then use that shortcode to create a new page. Put that shortcode on the page, the calendar will show up, and then you'll just update the menu item on the page or add the menu item. And again, I'll show you how to do menu items once we get down there. I'm just kind of going in order, but really nothing you need to do to change calendars. That's just if you wanted to add a new one. So we'll move to sermons. There are a couple things here, obviously, that we want to talk about since this is a function you'll be using often. So let's start by looking at series, because you'll be adding new series, and basically all you have to do when you add a series is add the name of the series and then select the image. And once you click add image, it'll take you to the media library where you've uploaded your sermon graphic here. And you'd select it and click add new series, and it will show up over here. Then if you go to all sermons, you can see what's already there. And let's say you accidentally uploaded the wrong file, the wrong media, then you can, or you had a typo in the name, you can do a quick edit and edit it through here, edit the preacher name, the series. You can change it to a draft if you need to take it down real quick and click update, or you can just click on it and then it'll take you to the sermons right here. So if you were to add a new sermons, you can do that through this button here or this button here and go to add new. So then you'd put a title here for your sermon. You'd give it a date, so whatever date the sermon was preached on, and then you'd add your file. And obviously it's only letting me choose MP3 files there. And then in order to use the podcast function, what you need to do is grab the URL from here. So you need to copy that and then paste it here. And that's all you have to do for that part. Then come over here to the right hand side. You don't need to set the featured image, because once you type in this series, it's going to come up. Then you click add, and then once you type in the preacher, it's going to come up and you click add. Or if you need to add a different preacher that's never been done before, you can just type it there. You don't have to use one that's already been used. And once you click publish, it will show up on the page, and it will automatically upload onto your podcast once you make sure that you copy and paste that URL there. And click publish. And let's go back to all sermons. And you can delete any that you need. And if you need to reorder the sermons, that's done by dragging these like that and dragging them where they need to go, which it looked like that one needed to be updated. And that's everything. That should be everything for the sermons portion of your site. So we'll move down to FooGallery, and like I said, this is where your mission trip photos are located, your life group and youth volunteers are located. So for mission trip items, which you're probably not going to change any of these photos out since these are past. If you want to manage the items, then what you can do is delete them. You can rearrange them by dragging them wherever you want. You can add media by clicking that and then click update. And again, this short code here will let you put that wherever you want. And then youth volunteers, what we've done on these, if you click this little eye, you can see within this person, this volunteer, we have their name as the photo title, and then the caption is all of their information. So if you end up let's see. So then you also have the extra information that is once you click on it. So if you end up adding a new one, you'll just want to replicate what you see here. So the caption is what you see when you hover, and then the description is what you see when you click on that information. So if you want to add a new media item, what you do is click on Add Media, find whatever picture you want, and then put the information you want when you hover on caption and the information you want when you click on it in total under description. And then click Select, and then click Update anytime you make a change. So let's say you want to recreate or create a new gallery for a mission trip. So you go on another mission trip, or a camp, you want to create a new gallery. What I would do if I were you is click Add Gallery and open that up in a new window, or a new tab rather, and then go through each of these sections and duplicate exactly what you see. So you want it to be a masonry image gallery, 220, fixed width, 10, and then just go back here and say 220 fixed width 10, and go down and make sure you replicate exactly what you see here, and then it will look exactly the same as these other galleries, and it will be uniform. So you just need to duplicate or replicate exactly what you see there. The other gallery we need to talk about is the life group leaders one. This one's a little bit more interesting just because we have to use some shortcode to make the names appear correctly. So if we look at life groups, you can see when you hover over these names, I can see this, and then I can also email this person about their life group. So this is done if I click on this little info button. Then in the caption, I have shortcode at the end of each line. So this is a line break so that it's split up. I have the name of the person in the title section. So you can see the name is blue, and then a line break at the end of each line. And then I have their email within shortcode. So the best way I can say to do this would be that you copy and paste the caption. If you add new life group people, copy this caption and then just change out the information and leave the shortcode in place, and change out the email and leave the shortcode in place. Or I can show you another little trick that is helpful in moments like these. If you go to Pages, click Add New. I just want to add a page section so I have some place to type. And I'm in the visual side of the editor, but I have a text side of the editor too. So let's look at visual. So I've got this email. Well, now I want to hyperlink this email. So how do I do that? It already knows you want this to hyperlink to an email address, mail to. So apply that. Okay, well on this side of the editor, that's all it looks like. Then if I go to the text side of the editor, I've got exactly what I need. So you just copy and paste that right here. And then just again, replicate this line break here. So it's a little bit more complicated, but again, it's easy to replicate. And if you ever need to use this gallery somewhere else, that shortcode is found right there. So I think that's everything that you need to know for updating these galleries. Again, you can add new items through here. You can rearrange them, those kind of things. So let's move on. We'll move to staff members. And this is going to be what's located here. So this is pretty intuitive and self-explanatory. So originally we had done your youth leaders through staff as well, but that's not what we're doing anymore. So if you look at one that's already here, if you want to update this information, you'll just click on it. You can update the name, the title, any of this information about them, and add an email or phone number, and then add images by clicking add file and then selecting the file. If you need to add a new staff person, you would go to add new on the left or on the top, add their name, staff person's name. This won't appear, whatever's here. This is just for your reference. What will appear is what's right here, their title, their bio, and you'll want to categorize them as main because you will want them to show up on this page, and so the only ones that are showing up are main, and you can delete any of the youth ministry ones. We're not using them in this context. And whoops, I'm on the wrong thing. And then add an image through here, staff photo. So if we go to all staff members, then I can see where they are able to be edited, and they can be reordered by dragging them. And that's it. Pretty simple and self-explanatory there. Not a whole lot. So the next item we'll look at, Genesis is the theme of your site, nothing that you've got to worry about or deal with there. Under appearance, we do have two things to look at, which is widgets and menus. And we'll look at widgets first. And this is what's in your header and footer, which is this logo. You have a logo, you have this button, you have the menu here, and then in the footer you have social media, these times, and this let's talk form. So on header right, you have just your navigation menu with your homepage menu, since we have several menus. And then if you look, this is the student homepage menu, and this is only shown on the student page, and then the kids homepage menu, and that's only shown on checked pages, so it's only shown on the kids page. So nothing you really have to worry about there. That's just where that stuff's located. And if you look at before header, we have your logo, which is linked to your homepage. So if you ever update your logo and need to change that, choose an image, make sure it's a transparent background on the file. And then this is your students logo. This is your kids logo. And those are white, which is why you can't see them. And then visual editor, you have that service times and directions button, which is on all the pages. And that links directly to the times and locations portion of any page, which is in the footer. And if you look, you can see where all these other items are. So in the footer, we have a let's talk form. This is just the contact form, and it appears on every page except for it appears on every page. I don't think there's any place it doesn't appear, and there's nothing you would need to change there. Times and directions. So if you need to change, this is your homepage one, as you can tell, and this is formatted just like it would be on a page, and you can see the hyperlink for a phone number. So if someone's on their mobile phone, it will call this number, is just that tel, T-E-L with a colon beforehand, and then an email button. And if you need to change any of this information, it's located here, and you can click save in the corner. If you make any changes, then the youth times section is down here. So if any of this stuff changes, you can update any of this. If you want to take the addresses off of here, you can take that off of there, and then click save in the bottom right hand corner if you do make any changes. And then on your Google Map plugin, this is just your footer map, which there's probably only one map, and we'll look at that when we get down there, but just have one map here, and yeah, so you don't actually have to change anything there. The only things you might change are those text items, which are I've shown you, and you can update those as needed. Then we have our social media homepage navigation menu here, and that's it. And we'll look at menus next to show you how to update these items. So it's under appearance as well, and it's menus here. And we have four different menus, excuse me. The homepage, the kids homepage, social media homepage, and the student homepage. So if I want to look at whichever one, I've got to click it and click select, but they all function basically the same. So let's look at the homepage menu first. And whatever pages I want to link to, all I have to do is come over to here where it says pages and either find the most recent, view all, or I can search for whatever page title I'm looking for. I need to add the parent resources page or whatever page I just created. Well, I'll add it to the menu and it's going to show up at the bottom. So where do I want it to go? I want it to be a sub menu item under here, and it can be a sub menu item of any of these things. It can be its own item. I can link to that page but change the label of it, or I can remove it altogether. And then these giving items are done by adding a custom link. And so if I have a outside URL that I want to add, then I can put whatever the link text and then link it there, and it'll show up here as a custom link. And if you add any additional items to your homepage menu, it's going to start to get kind of large. So I would be wary of adding much more up there, but that's just so that you know. And then anytime you make a change, you'll click Save Menu. And so you can change the navigation label on any of these to be something else. And if you want to add, so like for this one, the URL is blank and that's how it doesn't link anywhere. All you'd need to do to make that happen is go to Custom Links and then just type something. Click Add to Menu, and then once you've added it, remove whatever you added there and just leave it blank and then click Save. And again, we'll remove that because we don't actually want that. And all of that is the same on the kids homepage and the student homepage as well. Those are just going to link to whatever page it looks like. And again, you can make sub-menu items if you'd like. And then social media homepage is going to be the social media menu. And if you want to add different social media, all you've got to do is, again, do the custom link and copy and paste the navigation label exactly as you see it here, put it in the link text, and then just wherever it says Twitter, update it to YouTube or whatever. Wherever, so if it says Twitter here and here, you just make it say YouTube. And then add your YouTube link here, click Add to Menu, and then you can rearrange these as needed, or like I said, remove them as needed, and click Save Menu anytime you make any changes. So there's a few tips there. Again, I don't know that there will be much change needed there, but now you know how to do that if you so desire. And as I mentioned earlier, you can look at your plugins page, and these are all the plugins that are used, and they should, a lot of them appear over here so you can see them, and you can see Accordion Pro, and I can visit the plugin site here if I have some questions about it or I'm not really sure what's going on. So all of these are uploaded on your site, but that doesn't mean they're all in use. But you can view through here which ones are on your site. And under users, we'll look at users. That's where we can create a new login if you want to give someone else admin access to the site, or if you want to change your password, that's done by scrolling down here and generating your new password, and you can change it to something you want. But again, I would make it something really solid and a really strong password. And if you want to add a new user, you just go to add new. You need a username, and you also need an email to associate with the account, and then you can show the password. You can copy and paste that and send that to whoever you're creating the account for, and then you would make them a admin. And again, you'll just want to be careful who you make an admin of your site. Make sure they're trustworthy, those kind of things, and don't put your site in danger. Under a lot of the rest of these things are not things we're going to talk about. The tools and settings, I don't think there's anything that needs to be changed there. Custom fields doesn't need to be changed. SEO is something we can talk about, but nothing will probably be done. If you want to work on SEO for your site, that's where that's located. And we don't need to worry about these items. Duplicator is used to launch the site. These items are not things that we're using. They're being used, but there's nothing you need to do with them over here. Under Slider Revolution, I think possibly you were using this on an old site, and so you might not need a whole lot of information on this. Yours is fairly simple. Each of your sliders has let's go back to all sliders. Each of your sliders has a title, and you can see which page it's going to be used on. And if you go to embed slider, then you can get the short code that you need to copy and paste wherever it's supposed to go. If you want to add another slider to a different page, you can either go to the settings and replicate exactly what you see within the settings on these sections, or the absolute easiest, most simplest way to go about that would just be to simply duplicate it. You just duplicate your slider, give it a new name, and it has all the same settings, and it's the same size, and you don't have to worry about anything. And then you can go into the slide editor, and all you've got to do is either add a new slide by clicking add blank slide here, or click on whatever option here, and then your background image, you go to media library and either upload your file or select it from one that's already here. And I believe we've given you the dimensions for the graphics that you need so that these look all nice and good, and that's all you have to do. And then just click save. And if you want to, like for instance this one, right now we've got it invisible, and if you want to bring it back, you just click the green check. And so if any of these you just want to put away for a while, not use, you can click the red button, and then once you want them back, the green, instead of having to delete them and make them again. And these are reordered by dragging them. And all of them are basically identical, they just have different pictures on them. So that's everything with the Revolution slider. I don't know that there's much else you would need to know there, since you're just using these pre-made graphics. So moving down, WordFence keeps your site healthy and safe, and we get updates if there's any fishy or weird activity, and that's put in place for that. All import, that's something we've used, but not something you need to worry about. Google Maps will be the last thing that you need to worry about, and even then, probably not very much. So if you go to Manage Maps, then you can see what maps we've created for your site, and it looks like just the one. And the short code is here, so if you want to put the map within a page where you're putting information about something and you create a new page, that short code can be used here. Or you can copy this map and you can go and edit any of the settings on here. So you can edit the zoom level, you can change any of these control positions or settings if you'd like, but we've got it set up so that it looks nice for you and you don't have to worry about the sizing or anything here, and it should just always look good if we keep the plugins updated. And then manage locations. Let's say you guys end up moving locations, or you guys add a second location. That's done by clicking edit, and you just start typing in the address, and all this other stuff will autofill. And you click save location, or if you click add new location, it takes you to the same type of window. And then once you go back to manage maps, if I edit this, then once I scroll down, my other location I just created is here, and I can select it and click save. So I think that takes you through everything you need to know about your site. Obviously, if you have additional questions, you're more than welcome to contact us and we'd be happy to assist, but I think this should really get you started.